Well, good afternoon and welcome back to the Little French Homestead. If you are new to my channel today, my name is Sherry. I just want to say before we get into this video, this is what my beautiful daughter made for us, and we enjoyed those wonderfully. They are red velvet cupcakes. And I will go ahead and put the recipe down below when you see me making the chicken marinades. I will link that, okay? So when the power goes out or you walk into a grocery store and you see some empty shelves, what's that feeling that hits you first? For most of us, it's a knot in the stomach, that cold spike of panic. You start to wonder, how am I going to feed my family of 3 in 3 days, let alone a week? The fear is paralyzing. But what if you didn't have to be in fear? What if you could trade that panic for quiet confidence? In this video, we're not making just another shopping list. I'm going to take you on a trip to share 5 simple, unbreakable rules that will help you build a food supply you can actually count on. This is a system that kicks fear out the door, puts you back in control. Let's go ahead and get into it. The first thing is first. The most important rule is to build a buffer between your family and whatever life throws at you. You don't need a bunker filled with a year's worth of food to have the feeling of food security. You just need a head start. This is why agencies like FEMA and the CDC suggest that every household holds at least 3 days of non-perishable food and water. But that's just the bare minimum. But if you've ever been through a serious storm or a long power outage, you know that 3 days can disappear in the blink of an eye. That is why many preparedness experts will tell you a 2-week supply is much more of a realistic goal. Now, don't let that number scare you. The key is to start small. Don't try to buy 2 weeks of food in one giant, overwhelming shopping trip. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, it is to build a 3-day emergency supply kit this week. That's it. A few cans of soup, some protein bars, case of water, done. Once you have that 3-day supply buffer locked in, you can slowly build out to week 1 and week 2 just by adding a little extra to your normal grocery trips. Thinking of it this way, you're not a doomsday prepper, you're just a smart planner. You have a spare tire in your car, right? Same logic. It's a practical buffer for life's common hiccups, giving you a little bit of breathing room to make calm decisions instead of panic ones at the last minute. So when the power goes out and your stove and microwave are just expensive kitchen decorations, that brings us to rule 2. Prioritize foods that you can eat with 0 cooking required. Your emergency pantry should build around these shelf-stable, ready-to-eat heroes. We're talking things like canned tuna, salmon, and chicken, canned beans like chickpeas or kidney beans. They are packed with a lot of protein and can be eaten in a cold and a quick salad. Peanut butter is the absolute powerhouse of calories and protein. So grab some crackers, some rice cakes, and some granola bars. Dried fruits, nuts, and trail mix are also a great combination. These are the foods that give you fuel and a bit of comfort without needing a single spark of electricity. Now that is a real secret weapon in this category, a manual can opener. It sounds so obvious, but it's the one tool that, if you do forget, makes half of your food supply useless. Do yourself a favor and buy two. Put one in your emergency kit and keep the other one in your kitchen drawer. The goal here isn't a gourmet meal. It's about having safe, reliable calories when you need them the most. A simple meal of canned chicken on crackers can give you the protein and carbs your body needs to deal with the stress. It's all about function and peace of mind. Every item you should add pass the power outage test. Can my family eat this if we have a can opener? Your food supply emergency list should never be a museum of forgotten, dusty cans. It needs to be a living, working system. That brings us to Rule 3. The first in, the first out, or 5-0. This is the golden rule that stops food from going to waste to make sure everything is fresh and safe to eat. The idea is simple. Use the oldest stuff first. When you bring in new groceries home, don't just shove them in front of the pantry. Take a second to rotate. Move the older cans and boxes to the front and slide the new things in the back. This system means you're constantly using and replacing your old stock, so nothing ever goes expired. Here's a pro tip to make this even simpler. Grab a marker and write the month and the year that you bought them right on the top. A quick 626 on a can of beans tells you its age at a glance. No more guessing if it's from last month or 3 years ago. This isn't just for emergencies either. This is a smart kitchen management. By rotating your pantry, you're basically creating your own little downstairs grocery store or wherever you keep your extra supplies. When you run out of something, run upstairs and you just shop from your storage. Then you add your items to the next shopping list. This turns your emergency supply into a normal part of your daily life, saving money, cutting down waste, and keeping you ready without you even thinking about it. A power outage is probably the most common emergency any of us will face. It has always brings up one critical question. Is the food in my fridge still going to be safe to eat? Rule 4 is this guideline that answers that question. It's the 4-hour rule. According to the food safety agencies like the USDA and the CDC, food in the fridge is generally safe for about 4 hours without power, but only if the door stays closed. After that 4-hour mark, you will start losing your perishable items like milk, raw eggs, raw meat, and leftovers. It's just not worth the risk. Your freezer, however, is a different story. A half-full freezer will usually keep its temperature for about 24 hours. And a freezer full can go up to about 48. As long as that door is shut. If the food still has ice crystals or feels refrigerated cold, it can be safely refrozen or cooked. The single and most important thing you can do during an outage is to keep the fridge and the freezer door closed. I know it's tempting, but every time you open it, you let the cold out and speed up the warming process. Resist the urge to just checking on your food. Instead, turn to those no-cook foods that you stored in rule number 2. And when it's all over, be ruthless. If something has a weird smell, color, or texture, don't even think about tasting it. The number 1 sub-rule for food safety is, always will be, when in doubt, throw it out. The final rule kind of brings everything all together. Because a pile of food isn't a plan. It's rule number 5. It is not just food, it's water. First, let's talk about water. You can go weeks without food, but only a few days without water. The universal guidelines is a store at least 1 gallon of water per person per day. So for that family of 4, that means you'll need to store at least 4 gallons for every single day that you want to be prepared. Just like with food, start with a 3-day supply and build from there. Commercially bottled water is the safest and the easiest way to go, but you can go ahead and use old soda bottles or milk jugs. Just make sure you rinse them out thoroughly. When I store mine, I don't fill up the water until I know there's a storm on the way. And then if I have any room in my freezer, I will go ahead and put those 1 gallon or soda bottle waters into my freezer if they are not full. When they are full, they keep much, much longer. Second, you will need a plan. This doesn't have to be some complicated binder. It can be a simple one-page document that everyone in your family knows about. It should have dead simple meal ideas using the food that you actually stored. What's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner on day 1. Make it all the way to day 3 and then 7. Thinking about this now prevents so much stress later. And maybe the most important stock your food family will actually eat. Forcing your kids to eat something that they hate during a stressful situation is a recipe for misery. Preparedness isn't just about survival. It's about keeping a sense of normalcy and a well-being. A familiar comfort food can do wonders for your morale. This plan is a roadmap. It turns a stack of cans into meals. It turns random collections of supplies into real system and security. So let's just quickly go over those 5 rules again. The first one, have a 3 to 14 day rule, and it's going to start with a 3-day buffer and slowly build up for 2 weeks. The no cook priority. Focus on ready to eat foods that don't need power, but make sure you have a can opener. First in, first out. Rotate your stock so nothing ever goes to waste, and mark them with the date and the month you bought them. The 4-hour rule. Know exactly when to save and when to toss food after the power goes out. It's not worth the risk. And then it's just not food. Don't forget water and a plan. Make sure everyone knows where the plan is kept. Preferably by the refrigerator is perfect. Next time you see those empty shelves or the lights flicker and die, that knot of fear in your stomach doesn't have to be your story. Following these 5 simple rules isn't just about preparing for the end of the world. It's about taking a small, smart, steady step toward making sure that your family is safe and fed for when life gets a little unpredictable. This isn't about fear, it's about responsibility. It's about trading anxiety for a plan and panic for genuine confidence. You can absolutely do this. If this video has helped you out, do me a favor and give it a thumbs up. Share it with somebody you care about, and of course, subscribe for more practical advice on building a more resilient life. Now, for your challenge, don't just watch, do. Your challenge for this week is to nail rule number 1. Go out and get your family's 3-day supply of food and water. And I just want to say, if you'd like to go ahead and place a comment down below, I would love to hear what you do. My name is Sherry. Thank you so much for allowing me to come into your home today, and you have a great day. And as always, keep on cooking. Bye.